If you had your own cartoon, would you want to appear in it at least once?
Oh my god, this is so awesome.
That's a question that every cartoon fan asks themselves at least once in their life, and the answer is usually a resounding definitely. And that's exactly what many cartoon creators do whenever they can. Just like what happened in Teen Titans Go in episodes 201 and 202, titled The Self-Indulgent 200th Episode Spectacular, which was divided into two parts. In this episode, the Teen Titans Go team realizes that their world is disappearing, so they decide to go to the source of it all, Warner Brothers Studios, where the two creators of the show, Aaron Hovarth and Michael Jelenic, work to try to convince them to continue producing the cartoon. And they succeed, since the animated series is still being produced and is almost reaching 400 episodes. A clever move by those guys to convince the bosses.
Work on an episode, work on an episode, work on an episode, work on an episode every day. Pile it on your plate like a work buffet.
This is just one of the 12 cases of creators who appeared in their own cartoons. The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy. In this iconic cartoon, we also have an episode where the creator of the show, named Maxwell Adams, appears, although it's unfortunate that it's not for long. Actually, he appears just to disappear. Hold on, let me explain. In the episode The Time Hole Prank, Billy and Mandy's gang visit the place where hourglasses with the sands of each person's lifetime are kept, and Billy grabs two of them and starts running until he accidentally drops one. The problem is, that particular hourglass contained Maxwell's exact lifespan as the creator of the show, and when it shatters, he simply ceases to exist. He was quite cruel to himself, which is still funny.
Holy crud, this is my best idea ever!
Probably no one special.
The Powerpuff Girls. The Powerpuff Girls were originally created in 1998 by a guy named Craig McCracken. The show was a tremendous success, especially among young girls, but I don't think I know anyone who doesn't like that cartoon. And in the episode, Sleeping with the Enemy, the girls have a slumber party and flip through a magazine with various handsome and wonderful boys. And one of the celebrities featured in the magazine photos is a representation of Craig himself. A clever way to make an appearance and self-promote at the same time. Well done. Jorel's brother. This is a cartoon that airs on Cartoon Network Brazil and tells the story of a boy whose name is unknown, and everyone simply calls him Jorel's brother. Jorel, on the other hand, is the coolest kid in school. The show was created by a comedian named Juliano Enrico and premiered in 2014 on the channel. In one of the episodes of the series, when the family goes on a trip to the Caribbean and the boat sinks, we are introduced to a very funny character called the Vice Consul of Honduras, a small country in Central America. The interesting thing is that the creator of the show played some characters on MTV Brazil, including one called the Vice Consul of Honduras. Both the image and the voice of the Vice Consul are entirely done by the creator of Jorel's brother, and it looks and sounds really cool. The funny thing is that Juliano himself has admitted that the story of the cartoon is inspired by him and his family, since he actually has a brother named Jorel, whom his father named after the Superman's father, Jor-El. Pixels. Let's make an exception here and talk about a movie, but one that is filled with animations and special effects, so it counts. In this Adam Sandler film, we see video game characters materializing in the real world. At a certain point, we see one of the most famous games in history materializing, Pac-Man. Yes, the one with the round little creature that eats everything in its path. And when Pac-Man appears, we also see Toru Iwatani, the original creator of the game from 1980. Saying that Pac-Man was his child. The problem is that the creature simply eats its creator's arm. Bizarre.
Somebody kill it, stupid meat!
I never saw Pac-Man the same way after that, but this is definitely a case of a creator appearing alongside his creation. The Simpsons. You know that The Simpsons is a well-known cartoon worldwide, but what you may not know is that Matt Groening, the creator of the show, has an IQ of over 130, which qualifies him as a highly intelligent person. And of course, someone as smart as him would appear in his own animated show, which happens to be the longest-running series in history. Matt Groening's appearance didn't happen just once, but multiple times throughout the over 30 seasons of the world's most famous cartoon, like when he appeared in an opening sequence manipulating the characters, or when he showed up at a cartoon fans meeting, or when the comic book guy was collecting life-size animated characters like Spock, Xena, and Matt Groening himself. Not to mention that he also appears in the Simpsons game, albeit with white hair already. Regular show. Those who were a bit older and enjoyed Cartoon Network in the 2010s onwards know very well how awesome regular show is. All thanks to the brilliant mind of J.G. Quintel, its creator. Since he's no fool, he made sure to include numerous extras with his face throughout the 8 seasons of the show. I can't blame him. I would do the same. Animaniacs. Steven Spielberg is undoubtedly one of the most famous guys in Hollywood, as he's responsible for some of the greatest films of all time, like E.T., The Extraterrestrial, Jaws, and the first 4 Indiana Jones movies, among many others. What some people don't know is that Spielberg is also the creator of some fantastic cartoons, like Tiny Toon Adventures, Pinky and the Brain, Freakazoid, and Animaniacs. And he simply makes appearances in practically all of them. In Animaniacs, among other times, he appears in the episode Our Gang, singing along with the wacky trio. Spider-Man. There is no shortage of Spider-Man series and movies, a character created by the genius Stan Lee. May he rest in peace. And long before the MCU, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, was created and Stan started appearing in all the movies, someone had the idea to make the first appearance of Marvel's mentor in an animated series. And that happened in the 1994 Spider-Man animated series. In one of the final episodes, where Peter Parker returns to a reality where he is just a comic book character and meets the creator of the series in that dimension, Stan Lee. He even takes Stan for a swing around the buildings of New York. That scene is memorable.
I'm looking for some guy named Stan Lee.
What? Spider-Man?
Futurama. Just like with The Simpsons, Matt Groening also created Futurama, which is also very good and funny, but a bit more adult-oriented. And of course, he wouldn't miss making an appearance there as well. This happened in some episodes where he is always portrayed as just a talking head, like all the important personalities of the 20th and 21st centuries in the show. That's what happened in the episode The Da Vinci Code. Close enough. Just like Matt Groening, J.G. Quintel, the creator of Regular Show, also created another very good cartoon. The name of his second animation is Close Enough. But in this second cartoon, he is one of the main characters, Josh. And besides providing his likeness, he is also the voice actor for the character. The show had 3 seasons and has a more adult tone than Regular Show, but it is still absurd, wacky, and funny, the perfect mix for a great animated series. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. It may seem repetitive, but this is also the case of another brilliant creator of animated shows in a second work. We're talking once again about Craig McCracken. The same guy who created the Powerpuff Girls also created Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and he appears in the episode The Big Picture, where everyone is making fun of Eduardo because he's full of gas. So Eduardo decides to send a letter to the creator of the show to help him solve his, let's say, problem. Then Craig appears once again and helps poor Eduardo. Bonus! Mario Brothers the movie. And lastly, we have an honorable mention that is not about a creator, but an important figure in the history of a character. We're talking about the man who has been voicing Super Mario since 1991. That's over 30 years. Charles Martinet. However, in the animated movie released in 2023, Super Mario Bros. The main character was voiced by Chris Pratt, the famous Star-Lord from Marvel, Peter Quill. But the production team still paid a beautiful homage to Charles Martinet and asked him to voice 2 other characters. First, he plays a character who was playing Donkey Kong in the pizza place where Mario and Luigi were, and we can recognize him by his typical catchphrase that is so present in the games. He also voiced Luigi and Mario's father, the patriarch of the family. These appearances were really cool and a great tribute. Guys, those were the 12 situations where creators appeared in their own works, plus a bonus. Pretty cool, right? Comment on which of these appearances you liked the most and which ones you know that we didn't include in this list. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our upcoming videos. See you next time. Bye-bye!